everyone. Welcome to the Shoot Par Now Golf Show. I'm Arlen Bento Jr. here with my co-host James Stemmer.
Hey, everybody.
And before we get started, want to thank our sponsor today. Our sponsor is Divot Board. This is a great product. If you haven't seen a divot board, you're missing out. It'll show you as you hit a shot. It shows you what your divots look like. So if you hit a thin ball, you would look like, actually, thin ball, you would have a mark over here. If you hit heavy, in other words, you hit the ground first, right? You're going to show like hit the ground and then go like that. Most people, they can't even do a straight line. It's always like that. Yeah. So it gives you really good feedback. I think it's a great product. And again, if you want one, there's a link in the description. I want to thank Divot.
And this thing's tough because we beat the snot out of it over.
Oh yeah, these things. This is they just sent me a couple new ones, but I've used one in the net for months, and it took a beating. And yeah, we use it all the time. It's a great product. So helps you with your game. It's a really good thing. You can practice anytime you want. So it's called the Divot Board. There's a link if you get a interest in it. So
good.
We are going to be having our Masters Pimento sandwich test. Tasting. We're not testing. We're just tasting. And but before that, I did want to go over the tournament this week. Did you get a chance to watch any of it, or you just picked up highlights?
I watched Saturday's round. I watched a little bit of Sundays.
Yeah, so it was the Texas Valero Open. It's held at the TPC San Antonio. The interesting part is that the weather was really cold.
Well, Thursday, Friday was beautiful.
Right. Wasn't it like
short
80?
sleeves and
80s.
low 80s and
yeah,
not much wind. Everybody was beating the heck out of the golf course.
And then Sunday came. It was like 48 and 20, 30 mile an hour winds, and everybody's got beanies on, and that course is not easy.
No.
It has you know what? It's interesting because it has so many, like, it looks like a TPC course. It just has a lot of shots which are intimidating. And so Brian Harmon won, and I think it was his fourth win. And but it was a struggle. I mean, that guy, he was in a bunch of bunkers. He had a 3-shot lead, I think, when he started.
Down the stretch.
Yeah,
Really did.
And then he kind of lost it, and he caught it, and nobody else could put anything together. And I think the wind just kind of destroyed them.
Well, I mean, when you've got par fives and they're laying up, they're still hitting 3-wood or driver off the tee, and they're still laying up.
You know it's long.
You know it's playing long.
But there were a couple holes where it was downwind, and they were like had to chip a 3-wood because it was blowing so hard. What was it? It was like one was 169. They're firing woods, and the other one was 167. And they're firing. They're like having to hit. Oh no, it was like a couple hundred yards, and they're having to hit wedges or something. Yeah. It was like crazy with the wind. But I thought it was a good tournament. Yeah.
Tony Finau picked up an ace on Saturday.
I didn't see that highlight.
He aced the hole with
the big bowl in the middle.
Bunker in the middle of the green.
That is a crazy looking hole, isn't it?
Strange.
A bunker in the middle. Yeah. I mean, I get it. Like, it's a memory hole, but I don't know if I like that.
Yeah. I watched a couple guys chip over it because they were on the wrong side.
Yeah, if you hit a green, you don't want to go in a bunker in the middle of a green.
I know. Yeah.
I get it. Not all of them do it, you know?
Yeah. But yeah, if you were going to hit the middle of a green, with my luck, that'd be it. That'd be the hole.
I don't know the players. You know, like the names aren't on the tour.
Yeah, they're not household names right now.
Well, the household names are on the live, right? They're all gone. And again, no offense to Brian Harmon. I think Brian's a great player, but it was just weird not seeing names, you know? Yeah. And a lot of the big names that are on the PGA Tour, they're not playing this week, right?
Because they took this past week off to get ready for Augusta.
But I did see all of them play in the duels in Miami. Mm-hmm. You know, on YouTube. Did you watch any of that?
I didn't watch any of
that. Oh, yeah. It was actually pretty good. But
I did hear that Bryson DeChambeau hit a 390 some yard?
Oh, yeah, he hits. But it was like Mickelson and Grant Horvath, and it was neat. But I didn't think it was fun to watch. I thought I would enjoy it more, but I think it kind of lost its because it was competitive and it wasn't as entertaining, you know. But they worked hard. But I did enjoy, you know, watching it. I just thought it would have been like more exciting. But anyway, so there's a lot going on. But anyway, congratulations to Brian Harmon, 1.7 million, last spot in the Masters, which is a big deal. But he would have got in anyway.
Yeah, this is his first win since
the Open,
the Open Championship.
Yeah,
couple years ago.
Yeah, 23, I think. Yeah. So it's good, you know. And he's a lefty, and you know, I always think it's weird watching lefties play, but
I said the same thing sitting at home. I'm like, it just looks so weird watching.
yeah, just the shapes, and you know, he kept, you know, he really missed a lot of putts. Like he was right. I mean, good putts just to win everything,
Yeah.
but boy, he scrambled a lot. It wasn't easy for him that day. So congratulations to him. It was still fun, but now that that's out of the way, we get ready for the Masters, and that's about as much fun as I think I ever have in golf. I mean, I'll be honest. It's the tournament I will watch. I will just sit there and watch the Masters, and it's very powerful. I just think it's amazing to watch. Don't you?
I do. I mean, you know, I remember as a kid going there and watching the practice rounds with my parents. So watching it and seeing the holes, it's like I remember walking up that hill with my dad and my mom, and so it's got a lot of sentimental value to me.
It's a spectacular place, and I was going to mention this, and I'll bring some of the memorabilia I got, but you know, I think I've got like one of the greatest Masters experiences of all time.
Oh yeah,
and so a lot of people don't know, but I think it was 14. I think it was 2014. It's been a while. It's 10 years or it's been a while. Mm-hmm. But I was very fortunate to get invited to go to the Masters with a player that I was coaching, and the family, the dad owns a bunch of PGA Tour events, and I can get into a different, you know, we can talk about that a different time, but he was very, very close to Arnold Palmer, and they did the whole corporate entertain thing, you know, and it's very expensive to get a Masters ticket. But he made a promise at the beginning of our season that if we had, you know, won our district and our regional and gone to state, that he would take the team to the Masters. Well, it ended up being Arnold Palmer's invitation. And we got to go to Masters from Stewart on private jet and private limos and private residence with people cooking and cleaning. We stayed in this incredibly beautiful home, and we got to go to the Masters. And the coolest part was we had Berkman Place, felt like a palace, Berkman Place tickets, which people don't know is like the high-end corporate event side. It's a private area, all the food, everything you want to eat and drink. And there's 3 replica holes where you get to go and do the Amen Corner experience, where the caddies actually walk you through all the greatest shots in history. We were greeted by Condoleezza Rice. We got to do the Butler Cabin with Jim Nance himself. Got to eat lunch in the club. I mean, it was like unbelievable. So we got to go Friday, Saturday, and Sunday morning. And we were sad because we wanted to watch the end. And I honestly can't remember who won that year. I really don't. I just remember all the stuff we did. And but it was like, if you, just in case you ever fly by a private jet, if you don't get out of the Masters early, you're going to be sitting there for hours because there's so many private jets.
Oh, that airport's a complete bay. It's bedlam at that airport.
There's so many private jets at the Masters on Sunday. Like they said, look, if we don't leave like by 2:00, we're never going to get out of here till like 12:00 at night. You're just going to sit there because they got to check each one off, and everybody's jockeying. And so our plan was to get home, right? Because, you know, we had kids in the thing, but got great pictures. I'm going to put a couple of pictures up on Instagram so you guys can check it out. I'll put it in my story or someplace, but I'll put some pictures from that in the plane. And they don't let you take the camera into the Masters, which kind of sucks.
Yeah,
because you don't get to feel it. Do you remember the first time you went? How old were you? You were young though. Maybe you don't remember it as much.
I was 8 or 9.
Oh yeah, he's pretty small.
First time I went, yeah.
The thing that got me was how hilly it is. Mm-hmm. Like 10 is a ski resort. It is so straight up.
And one's up a pretty steep hill too.
It is so hilly. No, it is so hilly. Like you cannot. The cameras do not give it justice on how undulating that golf course is. And when you're walking it, you're kind of looking back, going, "Wow!" And you go turn that way, and it's like every shot, it looked like it was up or down. And then when you get to those aim-in corner shots, and you see those approaches and where they have to put the balls, it's unbelievable. Yeah. And we did get to go on the putting greens and do the experience, and they show you like the putt that like Mickelson won here, Nicholas won, or Tiger, you know, all the famous putts, right? And they let you roll them.
You gotta relive them.
Oh yeah, well they do it right in front of you. And they were showing us, I forgot what it was, but it was a putt like as you putt, if the ball rolls 3 feet past, you're gonna go in the creek. like where the pin is and where the ridge is. If it takes the ridge,
It's an extra 3
yeah.
little feet.
So can you imagine like playing in the Masters and having this like 5-foot breaking putt, and you know that if you hit it 3 feet past the hole, forget 5 feet. What if you're putting from 20 feet or 30 feet and you run it 3 feet by and you go in the water? Can you imagine that? How much difficult that's got to be?
I watched it a practice round. I watched Gary Player playing the 10th hole. Hit his shot. His shot was a little above the hole. And he hit his putt, and it kind of lipped out. Well, you know, as it lips out, sometimes it gains a little bit of speed coming out the other end. It rolled off the front and all the way down.
In the creek. In the creek or just down the hill?
All the way down the hill on 10.
Yeah. So when you watch it this weekend and you watch all the pageantry and the flowers, it's gorgeous, right? And so it's funny, right? People think that it's not unnatural, but Augusta has the most sophisticated, like under all the greens, there's hot water tubes.
Yeah, there's heaters.
There's heaters. The grass has been growing even though it's cold.
Yeah.
And only Augusta National does that. And the way they get the flowers to bloom and all the stuff they bring in.
Can you imagine the pressure that falls on their course superintendent and their agronomist and all those guys that
I'm not sure if this is
the 1 week out of the year we want it pristine perfect.
I'm not sure if this is correct, but it's not that far off. Every hole has the same crew as most golf courses.
Oh wow!
Like, you know what a golf course would use on a day? They have the same amount, of people. I mean, so we're not talking. There's hundreds of staff doing that golf course. Like it's nuts. Mowers,
like
trimmers,
hitting the field.
Oh man, it's amazing. So when you watch it this week, have an appreciation for how fantastic and beautiful that golf course is, and then of course the play. So, do you have any favorites?
I'd like to see Rory finally get one.
You think so? That would be a good one.
He's playing well enough.
Yep.
Just won the Players, so
he's hot. Yeah, he's been doing everything well.
Pretty hot.
Yeah, I think the big names are still always there. I think it's a great golf course for DeChambeau because he hits it so far. All the big hitters have an advantage because there's not a ton of rough. That's why people like Bubba Watson, who are long hitters but maybe not the most accurate, but have great hands, have always done well. But I think it's going to be an interesting event. I think I always think there's going to be a Cinderella story because there always is.
Yeah, I was going to say there's always some long shot that kind of hangs around
and kind of shows up at the end.
Cheer for him,
and it's Jim Nance's 40th Masters coverage.
Wow,
he's been there 40 years. Unbelievable, isn't that?
That's a long time.
Yeah, announcing the same thing over and over again. But yeah. So you have a pick that you like to pick?
Oh, yeah. Like I said, I like McElroy.
Oh, McElroy. I'm sorry, you did say that. Anybody else beside him?
Scheffler can putt.
Yeah, he's kind of been hot cold, right?
He's been a little streaky so far, but he's the defending champion.
You take Rory.
Kind of hard to look away.
I'm taking Bryson.
Yeah, take Bryson.
I think Bryson's the favorite.
I like that pick as well.
Yeah, I think Bryson's ready. I think he's got,
like you said, especially as far as he hits it.
Yeah, he's gonna have a lot of small wedges in, which will give him an advantage. But again, you got to be precise with those wedges, which I think he's proven he's gotten a lot better. And I like how he putts. So I'm going with Bryson this week at the Masters.
Very good.
Now, what do you got here? What we got going on?
Well,
as tradition,
if you've been to the Masters, you know that the big thing there is the pimento cheese sandwiches. And if I can get this thing off of here.
And it's as simple as you will ever see.
This is the traditional.
That's the traditional. And this is your hopped up version.
Concoction, yeah.
Okay.
The traditional one is made with sharp cheddar cheese.
Okay.
Pimentos, salt and pepper, and mayo. They use mayo with that to give it help bind it.
Okay. And then this would be your souped up version?
My kind of souped up version. It's very similar. Pimentos, cheddar cheese, and you
grated Parmesan or anything in there?
No, I didn't put any grated Parmesan. I have a little grated blue cheese in there.
Blue cheese. Oh, that's from our old episode.
Yeah, and
because you like the crumble.
And I use
Wonder Bread.
Yeah, it goes on white bread. And I use instead of mayo on mine, I use the spreadable cream cheese, the soft spreadable cream cheese.
You put that one together, I'll put this one together.
All right.
and we'll cut it up, and we'll have a little taste. Now, do you like yours thick? I kind of like mine like a little probably thicker.
Mine's a little thicker than I wanted it right now, but it came out of the refrigerator.
No, I meant like even on the bread, like when you put it like.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, you like it thick. I do too. Now, the cool part is at the Masters for a sandwich, you would pay like, I think it's just $1.50.
Oh, I printed out the menu board for the Masters with all the prices.
Yeah. It's really cheap.
The most expensive thing on there.
It's like $3 or $4.
The most expensive thing on there is like an imported beer, which is
$4. Yeah, I think I saw that too.
Everything else is, I mean, this sandwich is $1.50.
Yep.
Egg salad sandwich, $1.50.
Chicken sandwiches, which are probably
breast sandwich,
really good.
You know, I mean, you can't buy a chicken wing for what they charge for the sandwich.
All right, so I made this one.
I'll cut mine the other direction here.
You gonna make a diamond pattern?
I'm gonna make triangles out of them.
So we know which one is which.
We know which one's which.
All right.
All right.
So I'm gonna eat this one first.
Okay.
See how it tastes. It's good, but you can taste the blue cheese and the different stuff you put in.
I also added some everything bagel seasoning.
Oh, little change of pace.
Well, my wife told me to try that. So I put a little bit on a spoonful and went, you know what? That's pretty good. George should try one of these.
He's going to come over. Come on, George. Come try it. George is our, what do you call a person that watches the camera?
Our engineer.
Yeah.
Our studio engineer.
This is James's. Yep.
Ah.
He's never had pimento.
It's cheesy.
You've never tasted anything like this. It's like unusual, right? It kind of grows on you.
Yeah.
Yeah. All right. Try one of this one. Try this one. I kind of like the traditional.
Mm-hmm.
See if you can taste the difference.
A bit more plain.
You thought the traditional is more plain?
Yeah.
The seasoning? So what do you like better, the first one?
The first one definitely. Yeah.
And what do you like?
No, the second one.
Yeah, this is the one that was souped up.
I like my souped up one,
Yeah.
but
Yeah, more flavor.
I need either one of them.
Yeah. I like the original one. I think it reminds me. Well, it is. It's the same one that the Masters.
Yeah.
Yeah. This one you can taste the different seasonings and different things. We could always have more fun with this, right, and create more options to it. But anyway, if you've never tried where did you find the recipe? Did you find it online for the traditional?
Online for the traditional, and then I just kind of added my own.
Okay. So if you go online, look up, try it. Go online, look up the Masters Pimento Cheese Sandwich. If you've never tried it, it's a really good flavor, but it's something I think people just have to try. And it'll give you that. Why don't you, everybody should.
If you're lactose intolerant, it might not be
Yeah,
for you.
probably not for you. But again, if it's okay, why don't you have a couple of these when you start watching your Masters? You'll feel like you're there.
That's what I do. I'll pull this out. And I'll put it on crackers even, or
Yeah, it'd be good on cracker. Yeah.
Make a sandwich out of it. And,
yeah. I think it's great. It's a great memory, and it never gets old. I guess if I eat it every day, maybe it get old, but it's not going to get old if we eat it once a year, right?
So one of the traditions at the Masters is the Champions Dinner.
Correct.
Let's say you won this last year and you get to pick the menu this year.
Ooh.
What would you put on the menu?
Well, I probably, just because I'm from Hawaii, I'd probably go Hawaiian. And kind of like I would go, but my Hawaiian wouldn't be, it would be, I would go lau. I would go rice. I would go lomi salmon. I would go with chicken luau, which is kind of like a chicken, coconut, and maybe some pipikala, which would be like a smoked meat. So yeah, I would go pineapple upside down cake and or some coconut haupia cake, just to round it off. Now the only thing I left out, I didn't put poi on the menu. Poi is a very traditional Hawaiian taro, which you eat with your fingers. I probably would.
Purple paste.
I would have some poi, but I'm not a big fan of poi. So I would prefer to have
Many people are fans.
a big rice ball. And Kahlua pig would also be on there too. You'd have to have a little bit of the roast pork.
You gotta have the roast.
Yeah,
pig.
but I would go for the roast pork, lau, pipicala, and then I'd have the chicken luau, and I would have like my lomi salmon, and I would prefer my rice. And maybe some sweet rolls, but that wouldn't be Hawaiian. That would just be me. How about you? What would you do?
Well, I grew up in the South, so I'd have some barbecue. I'd have some ribs, some brisket.
Yep.
I'd like some, you got to have a fish on the menu for those. So I like Chilean sea bass.
Okay.
And probably, dessert. My Italian side would want some tiramisu.
Quite the ensemble. So we're going to go barbecue. You're going to go barbecue, sea bass, tiramisu, and cobbler. Wow. And that's probably not the craziest dinner ever served.
No, there have been some crazy dinners. I actually wrote some of them. I actually have some of them written here.
Give us the craziest dinner.
Well,
It's got to be a foreign guy.
actually, not many of them are horrible. Now, Tiger Woods, when he won his first,
Just the infamous one.
was cheeseburgers, grilled chicken, French fries, strawberry and vanilla milkshakes.
That's the 20-year-old
Oh, that's
20-year-old winner.
That's what. Yeah.
That's hilarious.
And
That's probably what he wanted too. I bet you it was delicious.
and believe it or not, Byron Nelson liked it so well. He said, "This is one of my favorites because I don't get to eat this at home.
Yeah,
Nobody will let him eat."
he loved it. I love Byron Nelson, one of my favorite players. My favorite players. Yeah, one of my favorite.
And Gene Sarazen and Sam Snead said the milkshakes were fantastic. So
And maybe he hit a home run with that.
well, maybe he did. Jack Nicklaus,
Traditional.
probably the greatest golfer ever. Well, his menu was pretty darn good too. New York prime sirloin steak, broiled or fried chicken, fresh fish, green beans, carrots, baked potato. His dessert choices were black forest cake, cheesecake, and a chocolate nut sundae or baked apple pie.
Ooh,
I mean, Jack's dessert menu was
he covered the board.
man.
He didn't play around. What do you have, 5 desserts there?
Yeah, he had like 5 desserts.
You have an Arnold Palmer in there?
I do not.
Okay.
I do not.
Nobody remembers. What else you got in there?
Let's see, who else we got in here? Well, eventually Tiger got a little more crazy.
Sophisticated.
Yeah, he went with porterhouse steaks, sushi,
Hmm.
little sushi and sashimi, crab cakes. So he got a little more.
Palate. More grown up.
Now, Phil Mickelson,
He probably had a great menu.
he wanted to honor Seve Ballesteros, who was sick.
Oh,
and
that
was,
year.
was dying of cancer at the time. Couldn't attend, but he had a Spanish menu in honor of Seve.
Oh, that was
from
cool.
When he won in
I
2011.
forget
So
that one.
That was pretty cool. He had a seafood paella, and then Manchango topped filet mignon,
Manchango.
Spanish apple pies.
Sound like a good menu to me.
Yeah, what you been? Mike Weir
Canadian.
came in with a lobster puff pastry,
Hmm.
wild boar, sockeye salmon, asparagus salad, a roasted rack of elk.
Whoa. He did not.
Yeah, that's what it says. Roasted rack of elk.
Where did that come
I
from?
don't know, but that's definitely Canadian.
Wow. That was a special
I
trip.
wonder what the kitchen thought about that. In Augusta
I
National.
wonder if they actually have to bring in, because their kitchens. Well, they're not. They know what they're doing, but
Yeah.
they probably had to bring in a few like specialty people to cook certain things. Like
Yeah.
I'm sure roasted elk isn't the norm for a lot of kitchens, but
Yeah.
I guess it's probably like beef or whatever, right? Venison,
It's Dustin Johnson. He's not a kid,
right?
but his champions menu started with pigs in a blanket.
No way.
Come on, I kid you not. Kids in a blanket.
He was being funny. You got to be like, you know what? I'm gonna order pigs in a blanket. That's what I'm gonna have.
Miso marinated sea bass or filet mignon you could have as your main dessert.
After pigs in a blanket as his appetizer. Sea bass or
He
fillet.
stepped it up a little bit with the entrees, I guess.
Wow.
But yeah, so that's kind of a little bit of
It's a great
other food.
It's a great tradition.
It really is a cool tradition. It really is.
And they're all disappearing. You know, I don't even know if Nicholas or anyone's gonna hit that shot because they're all gotten so, you know, as they gotten older, it gets harder. But he might.
Oh yeah, I know Gary Player works out all year long just
to hit that shot. Yeah, he loves that.
Especially if he hits it past Jack.
Oh yeah, that's a big stuff. He was like pumps up. He's like, yeah, look at me.
He's like, what was it? Jack LaLanne was that great?
Yeah,
that guy that was.
Oh, he's so fit. Shape. Yeah. Is the weather supposed to be good up there? Do you know?
It's going to be a little chilly. There's a cool front supposed to move through late this week, so we may see a little bit of rain ahead of that. Who knows?
Rain's important though, because that they can't control Mother Nature. They can control everything else, but
yeah, they pretty much try. Yeah, I'm waiting for him to put a dome over it.
If it gets some rain, you'll see the scores will be good, because if the rain softens the greens, that's when good players will really start to throw darts at it. If it's you know windy or dry, that place can be treacherous, man.
Yeah.
But I'm looking forward to it.
Yeah, same here.
Hope everybody enjoyed our mastered segment. Make sure to go out and try to get a hold of pimento cheese sandwich.
Yeah.
Check my
it pairs well with a mint julep too.
Mint julep. Go look that up. That's tasty. Check out our Instagram, James Stammer Golf on Instagram, and Arlen Bento JR Golf. I'm going to be posting about the Masters quite a bit. I'm going to look for stories or interesting things. Going to post some of the pictures I have. I think people will dig that. And make sure, if you haven't signed up for our Shoot Parnell newsletter, make sure you do that. I get a free video out to you every month. And just for signing up, you're going to get 3 of my core videos. Going to work on your follow through, your backswing, and your downswing. And you can find that in the link below, okay? Make sure you like and subscribe, and thanks for watching.
See you next week.